everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to do something a little bit different. What I did is I actually went into Chat GPT and I put in some little information about myself and had it spit out some questions. So we're going to do a little interview style question and answer here from questions that were, provided to me via Chat GPT. So a little bit different, but there's definitely some new followers here, and I figured I'd give you guys a chance to maybe get to know me a little bit. On top of that, it's a recovery week for me, and I didn't really have anything super interesting to record this week, so we're going to do a little bit of an interview style Q&A here. So we are going to get started. So I've got my handy dandy little notes here, but first, we'll just kind of introduce myself. For those of you that do not know who I am Kayla Bowker. I am a professional triathlete. I'm working on my third year of going into my third year season as a professional triathlete. I am a mom of recently 3 kids. I have 2 boys and 1 girl, ages 5, 3, and 3 months. I am a triathlon coach. I've been coaching triathlon for 11 years now. I'm losing track because it's basically been my career for the majority of my time frame. I ran track and cross country in college at Gonzaga University, which is a Division I track and cross country team. And I studied biology. So my goal had been to go into medicine or physical therapy. Didn't quite go that direction and kind of, went a whole bunch of different routes for a long time, and ended up, in triathlon, falling in love with triathlon, and then wanting to move, into the coaching world, because that kind of was able to really take my passions and my love of the sport as well as my entrepreneur desire. I grew up, both my parents started their own businesses. My mom was a nurse and she started her own business in the nursing industry, and my dad was a contractor who did custom home builds, and both of them had their own businesses. So I watched that growing up and I wanted that, and so it kind of combined my two entrepreneurial spirit and my desire to help and foster the growth and passion of triathlon with others through coaching. So that is kind of, very short, fast background on where we are today. And yeah, so let's kind of dive into some of these questions here and see these. I kind of just grabbed a bunch of them, so we'll see what these kind of bring. So, okay, what kind of athlete were you growing up, and how does that version of yourself still show up today? Oh wow, this is a really tough one. So growing up, I'm probably going to go different directions with this, but growing up, I was a very adventurous family. For growing up, for example, at the age of 6 months, 1 year, and I forget, basically every year until I was 6 years old, the last year being age 6, we would drive down to Baja, Mexico, and we would live on the beach in a camper van in Mexico so that my dad could go surfing. So I spent 6 weeks living on the beach in the sand in a camper van in Mexico, doing all sorts of Mexico type things, surfing, body surfing, building sand castles, etc. on the beach in Mexico every year. So that's kind of what I grew up as. I started backpacking at the age of 6. I started skiing at the age of 2. We did a mountain bike trip through the Canyonlands when I was in 7th grade. I backpacked around the Grand Tetons in Jackson Hole for 7 to 8 days. This is what we did. We did very adventurous things. And so I think that's actually more of an example than necessarily what kind of athlete I was, but more of someone who really always looked for challenges and things to really kind of explore and try and push ourselves and, kind of see what that all meant for us. So a better description of who I always have been is that person, someone who would set goals, push themselves, do things that were challenging, do things that were really hard. For another really good example of this is when I was in 5th grade and about to enter into middle school, where you change from just getting passing grades or whatever to getting A, B, C, D, etc. grades. I turned to my parents and said, I want to be a valedictorian. And they said, oh great, through middle school. And I said, no, I will get straight A's all the way through high school. until I'm a senior. And this was something that I put on myself. Like, so this is me in 5th grade, which I think is what, age 12, 13? I don't actually know. No idea how old I was. 13, we'll say 13. And I said, I'm going to be a valedictorian. And I stuck to that. I did that. I set this really huge, lofty goal that was going to take lots of time for me to accomplish. And I stuck to it, and I did everything I could to kind of, and that's something that you can see like down this road. You know, I set the goal to become a professional triathlete back when I, like, in 2015, and it took me 6 years to do for a lot of reasons. But I set this really lofty goal that was going to take a long time and continued to work towards it. And so I think that's more of like the way to describe the type of athlete that I am and the type of person that I am, is that I set really big goals that are scary and lofty and that will probably take a really long time to achieve. But I like to keep working towards them and see what this will, you know, kind of come of it. So I don't know that actually, you know, describes necessarily like how I was back then, but it's just kind of always be that type of person. So I think that's probably the better way to describe, you know, what type of athlete that I am. So, okay, next piece, it kind of goes into that, is I earned my professional card 9 months after my second son was born. And so what did that journey look like for you physically and emotionally? So for those of you that do not know, again, I set out to become a professional triathlete a long time. I had wanted to do it before I had kids. Turns out I actually did qualify for my card back in 2018. I just didn't realize it based off of the point system and etc. And then I got pregnant with my first baby, and I did race. I actually raced 4 times, and technically I think I did qualify for my pro card while pregnant, because I took 2nd overall at Texas 70.3. And I had a pro field. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. Anyways, long story short, then COVID happened and I got pregnant again, and then I got my pro card at Texas full in 2022, 9 months after having had Baylor, and then went on to take it later that year. So, you know, it was a really long journey. It was a long process. It was something that I kept missing, and then I had to, you know, refocus and try again the next year and really kind of work towards it. And I think, you know, I never really felt like it took anything from me emotionally. It was just something that I was just always going to work on and kind of focus on. And I felt a lot of immense pride to be the person who did it backwards. Like, right, most women, you know, they'll get their professional card and then they will have kids after that, after, you know, establishing themselves. I've done it the other way. I had kids, and now I'm trying to establish myself as a professional. And that has been very challenging, but I'm really proud of it. And I'm proud of like the hard work that I've put into it for that. And I'm proud of continuing to work for it. And I'm proud of the fact that I'm not giving up. And I'm proud of the fact that I'm showing my kids that it's a challenge and that I'm, you know, those pieces. So I don't, emotionally, it's been very up and down, but I'm really proud of kind of that journey. Okay. Let's see here. What else is next? What do you think your adventurous upbringing gave you an edge in triathlon? Why or why not? I don't know that it's necessarily my adventurous upbringing, but I think it's just how my parents raised us. My parents raised us to be very tough, to work hard, to set really big goals, to reach for the stars, to dream, to keep exploring. And I think that right there is what has really kind of defined me as an athlete, and to kind of gave me that edge in triathlon, because I know that I've done really hard things because I did them growing up. Like, there were times where we would hike like 12 miles in a day, and my dad would constantly say, oh, it's just around the next bend, like, let's just keep going a little bit further. And just always being able to kind of push yourself to that next level constantly is something that I really pride myself on being able to do, because that's what we grew up doing. We grew up constantly doing that, and it's really just kind of ingrained in me. Like, my parents at the age of 68, 69, did a 2-week trek around K2. Like, that's what I grew up with. And so that like embodiment of adventure and strength, taking that into triathlon, has only given me an edge that I can use down the road. But what I really think has actually like really kind of changed my perspective on triathlon is having kids. Like, because it really kind of changed my outlook on how tough I can be, what toughness feels like, what toughness looks like, and why I do it, right? Why I push myself, what I'm striving for. And it has gone from like being a selfish endeavor to doing it for my kids, because I want them to see women doing strong things. I want them to see women chasing passions. I want them to see women going after goals and doing the thing that people said, hey, I'm not sure that you could do that. And so I think that's kind of been more of, the defining piece, more than anything. And that kind of goes into this next question here. How do you define success for yourself today, and has that changed over the years? That 100% has changed over the years. Like I said, it used to be very more like success was like accomplishing the goal, hitting the goal, and whether that took time or not didn't really matter. But success now has become more tied to my kids. And that success is, yes, it's still like I still have goals and things that I want to achieve from extrinsic value, but it's become more and more very intrinsic. And that's more along the lines of, yes, one, showing my kids that mom is a badass, but two, my number one goal has really become to open the door for other women to feel confident in themselves as someone who can go after and chase their passions and chase their dreams despite having kids. That it doesn't have to be one or the other. That you don't have to be mom only or career woman only. That you can do both. Or you can do multiple things. You can have many different layers to yourself as a woman. And that is more of what my journey has become. Because, like, it's hard to race in the professional level with 3 kids. I have 3 kids now. Like, it was hard with 2, and now I have 3. I'm returning to racing again. And my time is limited. I don't have the same 24 hours in a day that a lot of the professional women have. And, well, yes, I have 24 hours, but I don't have the same 24 hours. And so I've had to change my expectations. But I want to show other women that you can still do these things. You just have to change your expectations around it and embrace the crazy and embrace the chaos, and when you do that, then it becomes a lot more fun. So I think that's more what success has become for me, is this idea that what I'm doing is for something much greater than myself, and it's continuing to show up and prove that we are more than just a label, and we can do so much with that. Okay, so if your kids watch this one day, what do you hope they will take away from your journey? And I just really hope that they take away that mom showed us what dedication and drive constantly looked like, while at the same time being the person that they could always turn to for encouragement and support and belief. Because by showing my kids how powerful it is to believe in yourself, I hope that they embody that belief in themselves as well. Because I have to believe so strongly in who I am, and I have to believe very strongly in my goals and in my journey in order for this kind of process and this journey to take place. And I want my kids to believe so strongly in themselves. I went through a period of time where I did not believe in myself. I did everything for everybody else, all these pieces, and it really beat me down so much. And I want my kids to have something completely different. I want them to have the confidence that they can show up, they can put up, they can do it, and to have the confidence to kind of really reach for some crazy goals that maybe that is not even possible, who knows. And if they have a role model of someone who did that themselves, they will be more apt to do that themselves. And so that's kind of what I really want my kids to see, is that mom believed so strongly in herself, and that confidence of who she was and the drive and dedication to her goals is something that they admire, and that they want to take that for themselves as well. Okay, I think I have time for one more before the battery on my camera here runs out. So let's see here. What are you most proud of right now in life or sport? Honestly, I am extraordinarily proud of myself as a mom. I did not want to be a mom. For those of you that don't know my journey, I had to be talked into having kids. I didn't want them necessarily. I loved what I was doing. I was very uncertain if I could, it just scared me. I wasn't the person who liked babies. I had zero desire to be around babies. I'd never held a baby. I hadn't changed a diaper, like all these things. But having kids changed me so much. It opened everything up for me. It made me tougher, but it also made me softer. I laugh more easily. I love deeper and harder. And because of that, it even opened me up to be able to share and to believe in other people more, because I can see what this love and this belief and having this little thing that I created can do for me. And I want to share that with other people. And so being mom is the thing I'm most proud of. And being mom in a way that I show up for my kids in every way possible. They are my number one. They always take priority. But at the same time, I'm really proud of the fact that I'm still willing and allowing myself to be selfish in my endeavors and selfish in my goals, because that's part of what makes me who I am. I'm a better mother because I'm selfish about these pieces. I am a stronger mother. I'm a more caring mother, more gentle, more passionate, more patient with them because of these things. So I am so proud of the fact that I am mom, and I'm really proud of the fact that I'm willing to kind of continue to chase after these dreams while being mom. And that I get to share it with them. And I love one of my favorite things is when Skylar and Baylor will practice triathlon in the living room, or they want to wear the silly helmet like mom, because she wears a silly helmet. That's what they call an aero helmet. She wears a silly helmet in racing, and they will grab my race shoes and run around the house in them, or they look forward to the medals, and they remember triathlons, and they watch it on TV because mom does these things. And that is so empowering for me, and it's the thing that I think about the most when I'm out on the race course. So it's more than just me doing it, but it's them seeing it and embodying it and being a part of it that makes it really powerful, and the thing that I'm most proud of. So, all right. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope maybe you enjoyed this little format. If you did, I will do another one here down the line. I probably only have a few more minutes before my camera runs out of battery. So thank you for following along. If you enjoy this channel and enjoy the show, please hit the subscribe button. You have no idea how much it helps a small blooming pro like myself to get my name out there a little bit more, to kind of share my journey. And just by hitting the subscribe button really does make a huge difference for people like myself who don't have a lot of sponsors, and are trying to kind of just get our names out there. So thank you everybody for following along. We've got 5 weeks till the first race coming back from baby number 3, and I can't wait to continue to share the journey with you guys. Thanks everybody. Chat later.